It's time for infrared radiation. I do love that bit of the electromagnetic spectrum song. In 1800, William Herschel discovered infrared radiation. He did this in an experiment he was conducting. He split light into the visible spectrum, and he did this using a prism. He measured the temperature of each of the colours, and he found that the temperature increased as he tested from violet through to the red end of the spectrum. But what was most interesting was that he found that hottest of all was actually beyond the red light that he could see. Infrared has a longer wavelength than visible red light, and so it has a lower frequency than it. You can see from the graph here that around 40% of the infrared radiation is absorbed by the Earth's atmosphere, meaning that 60% can be transmitted through the atmosphere of the Earth. Infrared radiation has a wide range of uses, including grills, toasters, remote controls, treating muscular problems, night vision or thermal imaging, and in security systems. It's also called heat radiation. Hot objects emit infrared, and the hotter they are, the more infrared they give out. The heating effect discovered by Herschel can be used to cook food. The grill gives out infrared radiation, which is then absorbed by the food and heats it up. When you want to change the channel or adjust the sound, remote controls send coded information, which are different patterns of infrared waves, to your television. Thermal imaging works because infrared sensors detect temperature differences. The higher the temperature of an object, the more infrared is being emitted, and so the more is detected, building up a thermograph. The equipment turns the detected infrared into an electrical signal, which is then displayed on the screen as a picture, where hotter objects appear brighter. This is useful when hunting for suspects in the woodland from your police helicopter and in rescuing people buried in rubble. Security systems like alarms and lights can be switched on by infrared detectors that pick up the infrared waves from an intruder. Other types of security system use an infrared beam and a detector. The alarm is triggered if somebody walks through and breaks the beam. Another use is in treating muscular problems, because infrared radiation can be absorbed by the skin and felt as heat. But beware, too much exposure will cause burns to the skin and can damage or even destroy cells. One final use of infrared radiation is in communications using optical fibres, for example between computers. Optical fibres use both visible light and infrared to carry information over long distances quickly. The signal is carried as a pulse of light or infrared radiation and is totally internally reflected along the narrow core of the fibre. These signals can't be tapped into like radio waves, and because they're digital, they're clear. I hope you found our look at infrared radiation useful, and you'll want to come back and look at visible light with us next time. We'll be looking at visible light, the middle of the electromagnetic spectrum, in our next video. Do come back, because you know that
regular review gets a better grade for you.
Don't forget to
Like,
so that I can keep making the videos.
comment,
Especially to request other revision topics.
subscribe.
So you can get notifications of when my next video gets uploaded.